Hey guys, KetoCoach Neil here, and today I'm coming to you with some questions from one of our new members. Preston is a brand new member to the community, and from my conversation with him, he is a carnivore. And he's got some common questions, not just for carnivore, but for anywhere along the PhD spectrum. So we're just going to investigate those here real quick. So his first question is, Dr. Berry has said to eat until satiation, which is what I've done. I've even pushed past a little bit to get accustomed to the diet. Is it normal to feel almost disgusted and not wanting to eat for a while just getting started? It's a good question. You hear eat till you're comfortably stuffed. And it is normal to stay fuller longer due to the increased fat and protein when you switch to a proper human diet, a PhD. I would, however, suggest not pushing it and simply stop when you're full. Now, a tip on that would be to just simply slow down your eating. Many people these days are so busy that they barely stop to chew their food, let alone enjoy it. There's no need to inhale it. Your food's not going anywhere. How about this? Don't have a working lunch. Don't eat while you're watching TV. Turn the TV off, put the phone away. Maybe even invite some folks over or have a meal, share a meal with some folks, have some conversation. That does several things. You can chew your food and enjoy it, and you can do some mindful eating where you can just savor the flavor. You can have some conversation with some other people, but the other thing you're going to do is physiologically, the signals from your brain to your stomach that go back and forth of I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm no longer hungry. I'm satiated. Sometimes those can take a little time. And if you're so busy shoveling food in, there's going to be a little bit of a lag there. There could be. And you're going to eat way too much. And then that signal is going to get triggered. And you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm miserable. Slow down. Chew your food. Enjoy it. And let your satiety signals function the way that they should. So that's the first thing. Number two, question branches off of the first one. It seems silly, but whenever I think of eating pasta or something that I shouldn't obviously be eating, I then become hungry. Even if I feel disgusted with the thought of wanting to eat that other food that I shouldn't be eating, is that a normal carb craving? Yes, that sounds exactly like a carb craving, a sugar craving, a food addiction, if you will. Don't beat yourself up, especially, Preston, you're fairly new to this. Give yourself, some latitude, some grace. It's going to be okay. It happens to all of us at some point or another. Sometimes we're repeat offenders. It takes time to physically adjust to a low carb diet. It just does. Whether that's, paleo, low carb, keto, carnivore, lion, it takes time for your body to make these adjustments. And it can take even longer sometimes to adjust to the mental, emotional, behavioral addiction to these carb-laden foods, what we call your relationship with food. Sadly, many people never even address that elephant in the room and dismiss the behavioral element of food addiction, focusing only on the food itself. What should I eat? When should I eat it? And they don't address the habits that have been formed and reformed and embedded and dug in for decades in some cases. Are you eating because, some emotional trauma? Are you eating because of stress? Are you eating because of boredom or just simply out of habit? Oh, my watch says it's time to eat. I'm not hungry. Doesn't matter. My watch says it's time to eat. You have to address these things. This is part of your relationship with food. So I would implore everyone listening to this, address that elephant in the room, address your relationship with food. Reach out, get some help, get some strategies in place to where you can, number one, identify it, and then you can move forward from that. So, yes, is that a carb craving? Yes. Is it normal? Absolutely. We all have had to deal with that and continue to adjust our relationship with food. Third question, is it okay to have a little snack that's within the confines of the carnivore diet? Like, let's say I want to get a workout in. Is it okay to eat some bacon or sardines before I go lift? good question. Controversial answer. Snacking is a very tricky topic, especially if you're new to a PhD. Generally speaking, you'd likely get better results from your PhD. Preston, in your case, that's going to be a carnivore diet. You're likely to get better results if you refrain from snacking in between meals. Now, if you must snack, then yes, keep it within the parameters of your chosen diet style. However, many people find, we talked about getting keto adapted and fat adapted. Many people find that after 2 to 3 months of adopting a proper human diet, they tend to rely less and less on snacks. And a lot of people say they don't even have the cravings for those snacks any longer. I knew after a few months, I'm like, I don't need the fat bombs anymore. I don't need to have, the extra keto treats or whatever, because my fat was going up, my protein intake was going up. I was staying fuller longer. Now, I'd also ask you to consider some time-restricted feeding, also known as intermittent fasting. And in that scenario, what you do is you select a window of time, and it can adjust, and you can alter this over time and modify it over time. But pick a certain amount of time, a window, an 8-hour window, a 10-hour window, that you set aside where you have 1, 2, 3 discrete meals with no snacking in between. And that's where you eat. And then outside of that window, you just don't eat. For me, that was the linchpin. My results, went through the roof when I started applying some intermittent fasting strategies. There's a ton of studies also that show that working out in a fasted state, so you don't break your fast until after your workout, and you eat your protein after, you're going to greatly increase your efforts, whether it's weight loss or muscle gain. So snacking, controversial. Your mileage may vary, but if you must snack, stay within the confines of your selected diet type, but look into some intermittent fasting strategies and looking at working with your macros, your fat and protein, to just stay fuller longer. Last question, can certain toothpaste kick you out of ketosis? I have a minty charcoal one. I try my best not to swallow any of it, but obviously I don't want to not brush my teeth. Any recommendations? Yes, please continue to brush your teeth. And that's a good question. And yes, a lot of toothpastes do contain sweeteners, usually some kind of sugar derivative that can, but not necessarily, bring you out of ketosis. I read a book the other day, and Colgate has over 32 different styles, flavors of toothpaste, and they've all got different sweeteners and levels of sweetness to get you to keep buying them. Now, what's going to happen if you're in a very deep state of ketosis? It may not affect you as severely, but if you're on the bubble, maybe you're not a carnivore, or you've not been fasting for a long time, maybe you're just keto, and you're right on the bubble of ketosis, that could affect you. It could knock you out, or it could get you even closer. Your threshold's going to be a little bit narrower. But again, your mileage may vary depending on where you are in your health journey. Now, I will say this: there is something. How can this affect you if you're not swallowing? You're not ingesting this into your body. There's a thing called the cephalic phase insulin response. That's a fancy term for your pancreas that produces the insulin and injects it into your bloodstream. It does that when it senses carbohydrates or some kind of sweet taste or smell. And what happens is, some people can walk by a bakery or have like a little non-sugar sweet taste. Your pancreas says, oh boy, we got some carbs. Let me shoot some insulin in there to take care of it. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do it well. And it will preemptively release insulin into your bloodstream, which can knock you out of ketosis. So just be aware of that thing. It's called the cephalic phase insulin response. It is a thing, and just be aware of it. Like I said, sometimes a sweet taste, a sweet smell. Two people walk by a bakery. One guy's in really deep ketosis and isn't all that sensitive to it. Doesn't bother him. Another guy, just the smell can take him out of ketosis because the cephalic phase insulin response. So just something to be aware of as you look at toothpaste. I've used Redmond's, and I've also used we like Boca, Boka brand. It does a lot for remineralization. I would, however, a lot of dentists that I've researched say stay away from the activated charcoal. It can just be a little too abrasive in most cases. We are excited about answering some more questions. Reach out to us. We want to take them from direct messages, from comments and in posts, and we want to take the ones that are the most common and answer them so that we can get all this out. Our whole goal here is to get the information to you so you guys can feel empowered as you take back control of your health. That's our goal, is to empower you and to let you know so you feel empowered on your journey and that you're not alone. So anyway, guys, with that, Keto Coach Neil here signing off, and we will see you next time.